Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to Amhara Media Corporation. This is our daily news live from the studio. I am Gaila Damu. Stay with us. Africom Technologies Chief Executive Officer said that the government needs to remove bottlenecks in the development of e-commerce as there is a huge potential for e-commerce in Ethiopia. Ababa Burhani reports.
Speaking at a workshop on e-commerce in Ethiopia, challenges and prospects Tuesday, Africom Technologies Chief Executive Officer Baharu Zainu said the government is showing increased commitment to the development of e-commerce in Ethiopia. It needs to quicken its pace and remove major obstacles hindering the growth of the sector. According to him, the National Digital Strategy 2025, adoption of the Electronic World Trade Platform, the National ID Project, Electronic Transaction Proclamation, the liberalization of the telecom sector, including government-led projects like ICT Park, among others, demonstrate the government's commitment to e-commerce. He stated yet the government needs to accelerate its pace in addressing the major obstacles to the growth of the sector. The Chief Executive Officer pointed out that lack of coordination among government institutions, absence of regulatory framework that formally organizes e-commerce operators are a few of the barriers.
E-commerce proclamation is already endorsed by the government, but there are organizations who are implementers of this proclamation. When we see their pace, it's very different. Now, as owner, Ministry of Innovation and Technology is coordinating this activity, but there are critical areas like from the tax office, the e-receipt progress is very slow. This is a very important component for, e-commerce acceleration or, fasten the progress. Therefore, even when it comes to the Ministry of Trade, this e-commerce is not designated as a sector.
Recalling that there are more than 54 million mobile and 22 million active data service users in Ethiopia, Baharu said e-commerce has a great future if the government addresses the issue of the digital literacy. He stressed that the country also needs to address issues of the national payment system. Addis Ababa Chamber of Commerce and Sectoral Association Secretary General Shibashi Betemariam said on his part that there is a burgeoning market in the e-commerce. The government has to give due attention to solve the problems e-commerce is facing in the private sector. The Secretary General revealed that several e-commerce actors, including renowned world players, are joining the Ethiopian market. He therefore called on the government to fasten its pace to remove bottlenecks on the expansion of e-commerce. The one-day workshop was organized by the Addis Ababa Chamber of Commerce and sectoral associations.
The United States government donated $1.5 million worth assistance to war-displaced people in Ethiopia. Brahan Workana tells us more.
U.S. Embassy charged the affairs in Ethiopia, Ambassador Tracy Jacobson handed over 250 metric tons of humanitarian supplies to the International Organization for Migration and Disaster Risk Management Commission at a warehouse in Addis Ababa. The charge said on the occasion that the supplies will support U.S. efforts to provide emergency support for tens of thousands of Ethiopians affected by the ongoing conflict in the Amhara and Afar regions of Ethiopia.
We are committed to helping Ethiopians in need wherever they might be in the country. Today we see these trucks here. This is a piece of 250 metric tons of non-food items. It consists of blankets and buckets and hygiene materials and tarps for housing and other humanitarian supplies to help people in Afar and Amhara who have been displaced by the ongoing conflict.
According to her, the supplies will help tens of thousands of families to meet their basic needs. Jacobson stated the donation complements the nearly $900 million the United States has devoted in humanitarian support to Ethiopia over the last year. Furthermore, the charge reaffirms the U.S. government's continued support for Ethiopia's in need.
These supplies will help tens of thousands of families to meet their basic needs. Supplies here, some $1.5 million worth, are really just a small piece of the $900 million in humanitarian assistance that we have provided to the people of Ethiopia over the last year.
International Organization for Migration Acting Chief of Mission Jane Zaho said on his part, our continued partnership with the United States government has been critical in enabling us to provide much needed assistance to the people affected by the conflict in Ethiopia. He stated currently about 4.2 million people are internally displaced across Ethiopia due to conflicts and climatic shocks such as drought and floods, praising USA for such generous support. Disaster Risk Management Deputy Commissioner Nasibu Yassin said there is a significant number of victims of war that requires everyone's support to rehabilitate and assist the displaced people. Nasibu appreciated the government of the United States for its assistance and emphasized on the need for greater support from the public and partner humanitarian agencies for the rehabilitation efforts. It was learned that these relief supplies are part of the United States International Organization for Migration, United Nations and international humanitarian organizations, broadly referred to help people in all regions of the northern Ethiopia conflict.
Tablets and oral liquids formulation facility built with $5 million was inaugurated yesterday, and Adi Netanyahu has the details.
It was learned that the facility located at Qilinto Industrial Park commenced its first phase of project about 3 years ago. The parent company, Glocare Pharma Manufacturing, invested $5 million in this first phase facility that has the capacity to manufacture 600 million tablets and 7 million bottles of liquid medics per annum. Glocare Pharma Manufacturing Managing Director Venkatesh Rajendra Arakontala said the company would be adding capsule and creams ointments sections this year. It was learned that the facility with 60 local professionals will also have 250 by the end of 2022. According to the manufacturing director, the facility used state-of-the-art building management system for the first time in Ethiopia. It will validate a series of products and be commercially ready after this inauguration. The company has also got expansion area on top of this project for the construction of the second and third phase of the project by 2022 and 2023 with $2 and $2.5 million. Health State Minister Ayale Toshome said during the inauguration that the country is formulating strategies to fill the gap in pharmaceutical supply. In this respect, the facility will create knowledge transfer as well as jobs. Industrial Park Development Corporation Director General Sandoka Ndababa said the government built the Qilinto Industrial Park, which is dedicated to manufacturing pharmaceuticals and medical to local needs. The park that rests on 279 hectares of land can host over 1,000 pharmaceutical companies and other serviced land, which include the entire essential infrastructure such as a wastewater treatment plant, reliable water supply, and a dedicated power substation. India's ambassador to Ethiopia, Shet Kinton, said Ethiopia is becoming attractive for Indian investors and many Indian investors are investing in the country.
The newly appointed Ethiopian ambassadors say they are determined to reinvigorate the national interest of the country and make it visible continentally and internationally. Brown Workana has the story.
Some of the ambassadors approached by Ina said modern diplomacy has been experiencing fundamental changes at an unprecedented level and Ethiopia needs to cope with this dynamism to thwart unwarranted global influences. Ambassador Extraordinary Plenipotentiary of Ethiopia to Pakistan, Jamal Bakr said, digital diplomacy is now needed in Ethiopia to influence diplomacy through social media and other platforms. According to him, Ethiopia has been under steady international disinformation campaign and global pressure since the outbreak of the conflict in the northern part of the country.
All those, open misinformation, like we call it fake news, and promote Ethiopia's, distort Ethiopia's image and, trying to affect our, the way our roles in the globes. But they know who Ethiopians today, what Ethiopia means, the liberties and the freedom that we brought. So we try to, show the world the vibrance, the strength of Ethiopia. Now Ethiopia, we believe, everybody who tried us would learn a lesson, a big lesson, who Ethiopia is. So now what we have to do, So what causes this misinformation? So they have their maybe interest. But as a government, what we have to do is engage them. Try to give them, try to engage with those people or government institutions or other institutions that have an impact in decision making, foreign policy decision making of those countries, European country, other country who has trying to pressurize us.
As to the ambassador, in addition to engaging diplomats and presenting the country's real image to the international community, the country has been managing its internal affairs, which is creating an enabling atmosphere for diplomacy.
We believe that through time they will understand us, and now there is a good, atmosphere. The basic issue of diplomacy is trying to manage your domestic issues. We are managing through dialogue, through peace, resolution. So we're trying to do now assertively engaging our partners who has supported us. So trying to, who have got misunderstood us and trying to give them necessary information and also our intentions in the future, so that laying a foundation for working together so as a partner.
Deputy Head of Ethiopian Permanent Mission in New York, Yosef Kasai, said Ethiopia has witnessed a politically motivated agenda that repeatedly made the country a discussion point at the UN Security Council and Human Rights Council. Ethiopian diplomats have, however, done a great job in explaining the situation on the ground to the international community during the past year. The country has been known for promoting peace, the ambassador noted, adding that the diplomats are now committed to promoting regional integration and ensuring global visibility.
Ethiopia has always been known to promote peace. So this is what diplomats have been doing, and also promote regional integration when it comes to the Horn of Africa, and we also play a critical role in the continent to make sure that as an African we can collectively advance our interests in different fora. And also Ethiopia plays an important role in the global stage, of course, when it comes to international public policy. We've been active in climate diplomacy and also promoting the Sustainable Development Goals. So there's much more to be done, and this is what we are equipped with to execute this interest of ours and also the continent in global stage.
Ambassador Gennet Teshome, Ethiopia's ambassador to Cuba, stated that the country is rearranging its diplomatic approach to defend its interests and make the international community become part of the country's aspiration. To achieve Ethiopia's ambition, diplomats should therefore be proactive in digital diplomacy.
The coverage of the diplomacy through digital means would be very intense in terms of speed and the borderless coverage. So it's very important to use this modern technology. And one of the training topics focusing on digital diplomacy, and I think we ambassadors are going to use this digital diplomacy to promote our national interest and to enhance the visibility of our country and the policies of our government.
This is Amhara Media Corporation, Amhara TV News, and now let's take a look at the foreign exchange rate in karat rates. That's all the news we have for today. I'm Gaila Damu. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and have a wonderful time.
Thank you.